wants to flop, but hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea. But overall, you guys, this is a really nice lightweight feeling style. So there is a difference in the rooting. If I can hold these in an appropriate way, oh my gosh, I think I need like 10 hands. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Chiquel YouTube channel. My name is Amanda and today I have the 3 brand new styles from Jon Renau's Volume 2 HD collection here to show you today. But before I jump into all of this, I'm going to remind you to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can learn even more about alternative hair. Okay, so not long ago, earlier this fall, Jon Renau released a new HD collection. So HD meaning heat defiant fibers. And they released 4 styles in their collection earlier this fall. So they released Celeste, Luna, Holly, and Maeve. But now Jon Renau has released a volume 2 of their HD styles. So in this volume 2, they have 3 new HD styles added to the lineup, and that is what I have here to show you today. So as mentioned in this collection, all of the styles I'm showing you are made with heat defiant fibers. I have a lot of videos on heat defiant fibers because they do differ from regular synthetic, but the long and short of it is that heat defiant fibers are going to be a little bit less shiny than just your typical plain synthetic fiber. So overall, on first glance, they're going to look a little bit more realistic and a little bit more human hair-like than your typical synthetic would. But something else to know about HD fibers is that they are a little bit more tricky to maintain, especially if they are longer. They do need frequent heat maintenance to help get rid of a lot of the frizzy ends that they will ultimately be getting. You will also find that the longer the styles get, the more tangly they're gonna get, the more you might need to comb through them, and the more clumpy they're gonna feel. So not only do you need to maintain heat defiant fibers with heat to help those frizzy crunchy ends, you're also going to need to do daily maintenance on them to help detangle them a little bit. And this is pretty standard for basically every HD fiber that I've ever tried. But just know that the shorter they are, the easier it will be to maintain them. Now, speaking of short, we're gonna start by looking at the shortest style in this collection, which is called Dawn. So I'm gonna start by showing you guys the cap here. So Dawn is gonna have a full monofilament top. So having this full monofilament top is awesome for styling because it allows you to change the part anywhere you want on the top of your head. So pretty much where you see hair, the dark hair growing on my head, that's kind of the whole section where you'll be able to change the part on Dawn here. And the other nice thing about monofilament tops is that it gives you the illusion of hair growth from your scalp, which is always a nice bonus to have. Dawn also has a lace front and it is extended into your ear tabs, which is always great because it makes the transition from lace into your rest of your cap. So the ear tabs here, it makes it a nice seamless transition with that gradual fading of the lace. So the lace front allows you to style it off of your face if you want to, and it also gives you that illusion of hair growth just right from your hairline. Dawn is also going to have an open wefted cap, so it's stretchy, it's breathable, it's ventilated. You can stick your fingers through it. And then we have our velvet ear tabs with the metal stays in them. So all of the wigs I'm showing you today will have these velvet ear tabs with metal stays. And the metal stays basically give your wig the opportunity to lay flush against your head without that ear tab like flapping around everywhere. All right, and to wrap up this cap, we have a velvet nape. So it's not an extended nape. It's not, like an inch wide. It's just this standard velvet nape here with your Velcro adjusters so you can adjust your circumference if you want. Now I have Dawn here today in the color 22F16 S8, which is also known as Venice Blonde. So this is one of the California blondes that Jon Renau has. All right, let me get this on for you. So Dawn, I find, is such a cutie patootie in the front. It looks like it's this cute little standard bob. However, when you turn around, she's a little bit funkier in the back because she's gonna be shorter and a bit more tapered. So let me do a spin for you. So So Dawn is about a light to medium density. It's not super duper light, but it's also not feeling super duper medium either. So therefore I call it light to medium density, but it does have some permatease in it. So the permatease is what happens right at the root of the wigs to give the style some volume and also to disguise some of the wefting that you could see, you know, if the wind were to blow. Some people I find are afraid of permatease. They don't want to feel like it's too big and bulky and like they're wearing a helmet. I find that sometimes that is the case. You know, you feel like you're wearing this big bulky helmet when you have a lot of permatease up at the crown and up sort of in this area here to make it sit high. Dawn doesn't really have permatease, barely if any, at the crown here, which means it's gonna sit, you know, lower to your head up at the top here. You are gonna find the permatease throughout the cap of your style in this section here, which I find is absolutely necessary for this style to give it the shape that it needs here. So this style is more of that trendy style and you want to have that shape there. So the permatease is absolutely necessary. I don't think you need to be afraid of it in this case. And you can also use it to help make it feel a little bit fuller if you want a little bit bigger hair. But like I said, you're not gonna have too much permatease right up at the crown here. So you won't really be able to get that full bodied look up here if that's what you're wanting. I mean, you can a little bit, but the permatease doesn't truly exist at the crown there. It's not until later on in the rest of the sort of body of the wig. But overall, you guys, this is a really nice lightweight feeling style. This is gonna be one of your like throw on and go type of a wig. There's not a lot you need to do. So this is essentially right out of the box. I put this on for one other video I made, but I didn't do anything to it. I literally just plopped it on my head. There's still the zigzag part in here, so I would take that out, find your parting. I will show you what this might look like as a left part if you're interested. And just remember that these fibers are not trained to go where you would want them to go yet. So you can see how it's just flopping down in my face. And that's because you need to use heat to help it go to the side you want it to go. So I would just spray with water, add some heat from a hot comb, even a hair dryer. I actually just showed how I would do that in my, I think it was my previous video on Raquel Welch's newer fall releases. Anyways, and I showed how I would set my part with heat. Anyways, there would be a left part. Here's a right part. But you can change the part anywhere you want. And there's a good look at your monofilament part, which is pretty well done. And let's take a look at this lace front. So with this color, Venice Blonde, Jon Renau has taken those lighter fibers forward, and that helps to create a less visible knot where the fiber is tied onto that lace front there, which is nice. And if I back up here, I do like how in this particular color by Jon Renau, they haven't brought like too much of that light fiber forward. There's other brands where I find it's like this streak of bright light colored hair and all you see is just a rainbow of hair. This one is a little bit less obvious in terms of that, and they've also scattered some of the darker fibers in the front as well, so I do appreciate that. So it's not too evident that there's this like crazy rainbow effect. What I do notice on this particular piece though is that the lace, it doesn't melt into my skin as much as I would want it to. And it is, I don't know, I just feel like when I back up, you can see the shadow of the lace there. I don't know if you can tell. What I would probably do is take my pinking shears, you know, those zigzag scissors. I would probably take that and cut it back a little bit. And I do find with pinking shears, since it's not a straight line, it does help the lace sort of melt into your skin a little bit better. Okay, let's move along to the next style I have for you here. So this one is called Aurora, obviously by Jon Renau. And I have this here in the color Palm Springs Blonde. So the color code for that is FS17/101S18. This blonde is going to be your coolest and ashiest tone. You will find it is a little bit cooler than Venice Blonde is, and it's also a little bit more dimensional. But something else about Palm Springs Blonde is that the rooting is a little bit lighter than you would see on Venice Blonde. So Venice Blonde is more of a medium brown root with a little bit more golden tones in the color. Palm Springs Blonde, you're gonna find more ash cool tones with a little bit of sandy blonde in it as well, with a lighter brown root. So it's gonna be less obvious of a rooting, but it is still there, especially when you look at it at different angles. You can see that sort of shadow there, but I hope you can tell that when I put it like head on towards you, it's definitely a more subtle root. All right, so out of the 3 new releases from volume 2 that Jon Renau has, Aurora is my favorite cap. Now, if you remember Holly from their volume 1 collection, Aurora's cap is gonna be just like Holly. So let me just go over it quickly. It has a full monofilament top, just like Dawn has, so you can part it anywhere you want. You can get that natural illusion of scalp. We also have the lace front that extends into your ear tab, just like we have here on Dawn. And then the velvet ear tabs are also the same. Now, what differs between Aurora and Dawn is that Aurora is a 100% hand-tied stretch cap. And this is gonna be your most luxurious feeling cap, a more lightweight feeling cap, and it's gonna allow all of the fibers on this cap to move in a little bit more of a natural way. Something else to remember about hand-tied caps is that you're not gonna find any permatease on them at all. So anywhere you have hand-tied features, so whether it be that monofilament spot, the lace front, the hand-tied cap here, you're not gonna find permatease, so you're not gonna have any of that extra added volume. Any volume that comes from a hand-tied cap just comes from the density, so the amount of hair, and the style itself, not from the base of the root where the hair is permateased, because that's not going to be there. Okay, so it's lovely hand-tied stretch cap, and now this one has an extended velvet nape here, so it's about 1 inch of velvet, which makes it a little bit more comfortable sometimes. And then we do have the Velcro adjusters. So like I said, if you do remember Holly from their volume 1 HD collection last month, this cap is going to be just identical to that one. Okay, let me pull the switcheroo here. All right, so I will let you know that I have put Aurora on for one other video as well, and I have changed the part. So I have gotten rid of that zigzag part. Other than that, this is what it looks like straight out of the box. I haven't done anything else to it. I haven't even taken a comb and combed through it yet. Anything I've done here has just really been like what I'm doing right now, just sort of subtle finger combing. Let me start off by giving you a spinaroo. So on Aurora, obviously we see that this is a little bit more of a voluminous style, but like I said, that's not because there's permatease in this. There is none. So you're gonna find that it lays very low profile to your head, around your crown. The volume that you see within this piece all comes because this is more of a medium density. There is quite a bit of hair on here, and obviously this volume you see comes from these bigger barreled curls. So these are quite large barrel curls, which gives it all of this beautiful volume, very glam look. What I love about this style is these long curtain bangs in the front. They really help frame your face. And I find that this, like situations like this up at the front, really help to make for a beautiful updo. They just really help to frame your face in a lovely, glamorous way and make styling in updos quite a bit more seamless and easier in terms of, you know, covering up your hairline and giving it more of that feminine look. So I think that Aurora would be a really beautiful piece for an updo if you want to go for like a really fancy night out. Let me give you a close-up of this lace front here. I do find that this lace on Aurora tends to melt into my skin a little bit better. I also find that the lace on Aurora, for some reason, feels a little bit softer than the lace on Dawn. I don't know why. I don't know if they use different lace. It just feels a little bit softer, whereas the Dawn lace felt a little bit scratchier. Not like super scratchy, just like a little bit more thick, durable. I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyways, this lace is just feeling a little bit softer and melting a bit better with my skin. You will notice that on this color, Palm Springs Blonde, they haven't brought up a ton of the light pieces in the front, so you're not gonna really get that rainbow look of the light hair right in the front there, which I kind of love. I kind of love that we don't have that here, but you can tell that the knots are a little bit more visible because of that root being a bit darker. So anytime you see a darker root or darker fiber at the hairline here, the knots are just going to be a little bit more visible. You can always take some makeup and dab it right at the hairline here to help blur that knotting just a little bit. Okay, and this is also a full monofilament top. So here's that monofilament part, and then you can change the part wherever you want. So let's see what the side part would look like on this. This would give you more of like a side swept look in the front. Might be kind of fun to have. And again, this fiber is not trained to go this way, so it's gonna just flop in my face, but I'll try to create a little bit of a look for you so you can sort of see what a side part might look like. Okay, it just wants to flop, but hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea of what a left part might look like on Aurora. Okay, I personally love a center part just because I think I just really love these long curtain bangs that go like whoosh. I love that. So just a warning, this one is going to be hard to maintain. The ends are gonna start to feel pretty frizzly and frazzly and crunchy fairly quickly, probably after a few wears, especially if you're combing it through. If you're wearing it for a full day, you will find that the ends are gonna start to poof out a bit and feel like they might need a little bit of maintenance. I have made a video on how to treat your frizzy ends when they are heat defiant fibers and when they are curly or wavy like this. So make sure you go and check out my video on maintaining those frizzy ends. Now, what I forgot to mention about Dawn, it's just coming to me right now, is that the fit of Dawn is very true to average. I found it to be just a little bit too big on me. I'm a petite size, measuring 20.5 inches in circumference, 11.5 inches front to nape, and 11.5 inches ear to ear. So this one felt pretty true to average to me, whereas this one here, Aurora is this hand-tied cap. I feel like Jon Renau's hand-tied caps fit me as a petite wig wearer. They fit me a little bit better. They just fit a little bit smaller than average. Not too much smaller, just a little bit smaller. There's still gonna be a little bit of extra cap in, the rest of the cap, a little bit of extra bulk, but because it's a hand-tied cap, on me, it's gonna lay a little bit more flush to my head and it's not gonna feel too bulky. And then in terms of the circumference just feels a little bit more snug than an average. This is not to say that this would not fit an average sized head, because it absolutely would. And there is still a decent amount of stretch in here. So just noting that as a petite head person, Jon Renau's hand-tied caps do always tend to fit me a little bit better. Okay, let me show you the last style. Now this style is my favorite style out of them all. The cap on Aurora is my favorite cap, but this one is Celeste, and I personally love the style on Celeste the best out of the three of them. I'm showing Celeste in the color 12FS12, also known as Malibu Blonde. So it's another one of the California blondes. And because I have three of these California blondes here, let me show you their differences. So Malibu Blonde here on Celeste is gonna be the darkest of the three, whereas Palm Springs Blonde is gonna be the coolest, lightest, ashiest of the three. And then Venice Blonde is a nice sort of in between. Venice Blonde has hints of gold tones and hints of ash tones. Palm Springs Blonde is pretty much mostly ash with a bit of sandy in it. And then you'll find that Malibu Blonde here is a little bit more of a dimensional golden toned color with hints of that lighter platinum in it as well. But overall, like I said, Malibu Blonde is gonna be your darkest. But what it does have also is a lighter colored root. So you're gonna have a light brown root on Malibu Blonde, whereas on Venice Blonde is that medium brown root. So there is a difference in the rooting. If I can hold these in an appropriate way, oh my gosh, I think I need like 10 hands. So Malibu Blonde and Venice Blonde, and then Palm Springs Blonde. Okay, let's take a look at this cap. This cap is gonna be similar to Dawn. So we're gonna have that full monofilament top that goes into your lace front that extends into your ear tabs. We have velvet ear tabs on this, an open wefted cap. So far all of this is just like Dawn, plus these Velcro adjusters. The only difference between Celeste and Dawn, which was the shorter style that I showed you first, the only difference between Dawn and Celeste really is that Celeste has an extended velvet nape, whereas Dawn just had that standard velvet nape that was smaller. Okay, let me switch this up so you can see what I love about this style so much. All right, so why do I love Celeste so much? Well, let me tell you, Celeste is gonna be probably the lowest density out of these styles here. I'm gonna show you there's not too much in the ponytail when I grab it. Any of this fullness you see comes from all of this body in this style here, but overall the density is quite low. You're also gonna find that Celeste doesn't really have any permatease in it. Maybe like a small miniature layer, and you will find permatease just at the nape at the bottom, but in terms of throughout the cap, it's very non-existent. So you're gonna have that lower profile look again on Celeste. So let me spin for you. I love how Celeste also has these sort of longer curtain bangs that really frame your face. So like I was showing you on Aurora previously, that always makes for a really beautiful updo. Just to have that sort of swoopiness there, give it that feminine, dainty look, and it allows you to have sort of these dangly bits in front that help to hide your hairline a little bit and help hide any ear tabs or like lack of a hairline you might have. So I personally love all these little swoopy bits just to help with these updos, but this would make another really nice updo. You're also gonna find a ton of layering in Celeste, and you'll see that a lot because of all of these waves it has going on. So the layering is really evident. It's almost like this nice cascading waterfall of different layers that are really defined by the wave that it has going on in it. So again, because this is a longer style, you will find that it tangles easily. I haven't worn this anywhere other than just putting it on for a previous video, but I have found that even, you know, running through my fingers after wearing it once for a video, it is feeling tangly already. So this is something that you might need to carry a wide tooth comb with you throughout the day, or, you know, escape to the bathroom and give it, you know, an extra little bit of love with your fingers. I always prefer with more wavy styles to start with my fingers first, because we don't want to pull and tug at the fiber too much. When we pull with a comb and tug at it, that's what stretches these heat defiant fibers out. And when you stretch it out, that's what then makes it like boing, curl back up and get those frizzy ends a little bit more quickly. I find with my fingers, I have a little bit more control over what I'm doing. I'm not pulling too much, and I can easily find those tangles and work them through as opposed to pulling through with a comb. But because this isn't like a truly curly piece, it's a little bit more of like a relaxed wave happening. You might find that maintaining the ends on Celeste here, especially, you know, this portion down here, might be a little bit more easy to do. I would just spray it with water, take a fine tooth comb, go through with my fine tooth comb, take a hair straightener, and then as I straighten the ends, I'm gonna curl it with my straightener as well. But you're gonna see how to do that if you go back to my fixing your frizzy wig video, where I show you how to do all of that. Okay, let me show you the lace front on this one. I do find that similar to Dawn, where I didn't find that it blended in as much with my skin, this one is kind of the same. I feel like I see it a little bit more. I would probably also with this one cut it back a little bit with pinking shears, so I don't see it quite as much. I mean, it's not insanely visible, but for some reason to me, I see it a little bit more. And then with this color, they also haven't brought forward too many of those blonde, golden blonde pieces. So it doesn't give you that like stark rainbow effect at the front, which again, I kind of love that they don't do that. But then the trade-off is that you do have a little bit of a darker knotting. But what I do love about this lace front, and all of the lace fronts on all of these wigs, is that it's not too dense. And when it's too dense, that means there's just too many fibers up the front. When it's too dense, it's really hard to pull it back, and it makes sort of like a lump at the front. This one is less dense, and it makes it easy to pull back and off of your face. And when I back up, this looks pretty natural. So the hairline, in my opinion, on all these is pretty good. All right, and let me switch up the part so we can see what a side part might look like on this. I think it would look awesome. So here is a left part on Celeste. All right, you guys, now that I have talked your ear off about these 3 lovely new styles, let me know if you are team short for Dawn, team sort of mid-length curly for Aurora, or if you love this longer cascading look that Celeste has. If I had it my way, I would take Aurora's cap and put the Celeste style on it, and that would just be a dream for me. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, you guys. As always, I love hearing from you, hearing your thoughts and opinions, and I just love talking to you. So get those comments below. And again, thank you so much for being here and watching this. Hopefully this video was helpful for you in helping you choose that next perfect style for you. But I will let you guys go now and have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.